swear by Allah that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you very much. Please have a seat. Yes, Mr. Boyle.
Mr. Ali, could you give your full name, please?
Hamza Ali.
Thank you. Please, could we have HMA 502 on screen? Mr. Ali, do you recognise that document as your witness statement?
Correct.
Thank you. We can see in the top right that it's dated the 5th of September 2025. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Could we please go to paragraphs 13 and 14, which are on, first of all, page 3. If we could just expand paragraph 13. You say, I've been informed by the inquiry that on 13th of July 2025, an online order was made. Should that read 2024?
No, I was contacted by the inquiry, so Southport inquiry told me about the case.
Fine. Okay. But the orders that we're talking about clearly were in 2024.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The orders and delivery that we are talking about happened last year, didn't they?
Or did it happen last year?
Yes.
I'm not aware of when the actual thing happened.
Okay.
I'm not aware of the dates.
You weren't working for Amazon in July of this year, were you?
This year, I think I was still working until, no, not July, sorry, not July.
Fine. And if we turn over the page as well, at paragraph 14, you say you've been informed by the inquiry that you delivered the knife on behalf of Amazon through Condor Carriers on the 15th of July 2025. Again, if I was to tell you that it was 2024, would your answer be you can't remember?
I don't remember, but if you say that the case happened in 2024, then I assume that I delivered it at 2024.
Thank you. With that context, can you confirm that this statement is true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
It's the best to my knowledge, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. You tell us in your statement that you started your career as a delivery driver for Yodel in May of 2022, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Thank you. You then worked as a driver for Amazon Flex from November 2022 to April 2024, is that right?
Correct.
And that was work as a self-employed driver for Amazon.
Correct.
Is that right? And would you have used your own vehicle when you were making those deliveries?
Correct.
You then went on after April 2024 to work for Condor Carriers. Is that right?
Yeah.
And were you self-employed but a contractor with Condor Carriers?
Yes, I think so. He was self-employed, yeah.
Thank you. And you were still delivering Amazon parcels for Condor Carriers,
correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So Condor Carriers is what's called a delivery service provider for Amazon.
DSP, yeah.
And what vehicle did you use to make those deliveries?
So with Condor Carrier, it'll be a van, so transit van or a sprinter van.
An Amazon branded?
Yeah, most of the time Amazon branded, yeah.
What were the differences for you between delivering for Amazon Flex and delivering for Condor Carriers?
So with Amazon Flex, it's like it's an app which you have to use and you have to find your own shifts, whereas Condor Carriers, they give you guaranteed shifts, so it's more reliable.
Okay, and that's why you moved from one to the other?
Yeah, correct.
And I think your memory on this was a bit unsure, but you say at paragraph 4 of your statement that you stopped working as a delivery driver in April or May of this year. Does that sound right to you now?
Yeah, sometime this year I stopped working.
Thank you. You were completing your university degree and finding that difficult to juggle against delivery?
Yeah, working at the same time and doing uni is very difficult.
Thank you. Could we have up on screen, please, page 1 of your statement? And I'm looking at paragraph 4. You say, just starting at the bottom and going over the page, I was the type of person to get my, and then if we go over, packages delivered as quickly as possible, and some days would be more difficult than others, so racing against the time, sunlight and energy was difficult to juggle. Is that
Yeah,
right?
correct.
You say later in your statement that you were delivering more than 250 parcels a day. Is that right?
Correct.
And you were working 5 days a week?
It would alternate against my uni timetable. So some weeks I'd be working 3, some days I'll be working 4, and then some other weeks I'll be working 5.
Thank you. On any given day when you had to complete your deliveries, did they have to be done by a certain time?
I think the max time is about 9-10 o'clock p.m. But because I said I've got uni as well, so I've got to keep that work and education balance. So I try to finish as fast as possible.
Was that time up until 9 or 10 p.m. enough for you to do the
No,
delivery?
so my target would be about 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And then obviously I can reach home by 7 and then do my uni stuff.
And did that put you under time pressure to try and do your deliveries in time?
Of course, especially being the last wave out of the depot with condo carriers, it's difficult to be the first one to finish.
So, sorry, the Condor carriers was the last people to leave the depot, were they?
As in, there's other DSPs, so it goes in order. So I think we'll be the last few people to come out of the depot.
Thank you. You tell us in your statement that you never had any issues when delivering, and colleagues and employees would notice the extra help you'd give to the team.
So you can repeat that?
Yeah, so paragraph 2 of your statement, you say you never had any issues with delivering and your colleagues would vouch for your additional help
Correct.
to the team. How regularly were you making age-verified deliveries when you were working for Amazon Flex and Condor carriers?
I'd say more than a couple of times a day.
And is this right? You were never disciplined for failing to carry out any sort of age verification check?
What do you mean by that?
It was never suggested to you that you had not carried out the proper check?
No, I always did it correctly.
Thank you. I want to move on to ask you about your training. Can you remember what training you had when you started working for Amazon Flex?
Right, so Amazon Flex, I don't really think there was much. It was literally as soon as you download the app, it gives you a tutorial, so it'll be about 13 pages with like 2 videos, and then as soon as you completed that, you can start working for Amazon Flex.
Is this right? I think there were 10 training videos, one of which related to age-verified deliveries. Is that
So
right?
are you talking about condo carriers or Amazon Flex, sorry?
Just talking about Amazon Flex at this stage.
Right, so we're talking about 2 to 3 years back, so I'm not really sure of how many tutorials or what there is now compared to what it was.
Thank you. But you didn't have any in-person training at that time?
No. There was no, sorry, could you repeat that?
When you were started with Amazon Flex, you didn't have any in-person training before?
No, there was no in-person training, no.
Can you take your mind back to when you started work for Amazon Flex? Did you feel that you had enough training to carry out age-verified deliveries?
Personally, I don't think there was enough training. I personally got trained by another person, so a relative of mine who also does it, and he trained me. But that was informally. It wasn't done by Amazon.
And is this when you were working for Amazon Flex?
This was Amazon Flex.
Okay, so you informally worked with another Amazon Flex driver?
Yeah, so I did, I'd go with him so he can work and I'd watch him do it and I'll help him out here and there. But that's how I picked it up, how to do this role.
That was something that you arranged yourself?
Yeah,
So Amazon Flex drivers aren't expected to do that?
No.
Having done that, did you feel comfortable with making the age-verified deliveries?
Personally, I felt comfortable about executing it, but morally, it's not done correctly because they don't teach you how to do it properly.
I think my question was perhaps not specific enough. When you joined Condor Carriers, you were given 2 days of classroom training.
Yeah,
Is that right?
2 days of classroom training.
Yeah. And that included training on age-verified deliveries, is that right?
Yeah, presume so. Yeah, it was a classroom and then an exam at the end. Yeah.
And so you were tested on
Yes,
age-verified
yeah.
deliveries and other matters in the training. Thank you. And did you spend 2 days riding with another Condor Carriers?
Yeah. So after the 2 days classroom, we did 2 days with a ride along with another Condor Carrier employee.
Okay. And again, after that training, did you feel you had enough knowledge to carry out an age-verified delivery?
Yeah.
I think this is it right that Condor Carriers gave you a driver handbook, contract and policy documents?
Yeah.
And that those also emphasise the importance of age-verified delivery?
Correct.
You had no refresher training, but you tell us at paragraph 7 of your statement that when you had questions, the manager and the team at Condor Carriers you found them helpful and responsive.
Yeah.
And were you given reminders and messages about the importance of age-verified
Yeah.
delivery?
Constantly. Yeah.
I want to go through the process of making that age-verified delivery and the app that you had. But before we do, can I just ask, can you remember the age of the person
No
that you
chance.
needed to seek ID from when you made a delivery?
Are you asking me if I remember
Sorry.
the age?
No, sorry. When you made a delivery to anyone,
Yeah.
did you need to seek an ID from them?
If they look under the age of 25, yeah.
Thank you. So I want to pull up, please, the app that you would have used at the time you made a delivery, which is at AMA 4065. Just while we wait for this to load, when you made your deliveries and did your route, did you have an app on your phone or were you given a PDA to make those deliveries?
Yeah, so all the deliveries we make is done through the Amazon app.
Thank you. And does that Amazon app take you through what you need to do with your route and also when you reach each doorstep?
As soon as you leave the depot, you're using the app all the way till you finish and come back. So you're always using the app.
And to complete the deliveries, is this right? You had to go through the stages on the app?
Yeah, correct. You have to go, through each one.
Okay. So I think we have here the start of the process that you would have to go through to make an age-verified delivery. Looking at the left on the first tile, you first of all had to specify who the recipient was. So I assume that in this example, Hermione is the person receiving the parcel. Just looking at that top section, you were able to deliver the age-verified item to either Hermione or another household member. Is that right?
Yeah,
So you didn't have to give an age-verified delivery to the person that was named on the package, correct?
correct.
Thank you. And then I think we see at the second and third bullet points, alternatively, you were able to give that parcel to a receptionist, doorroom or mailroom attendant.
Correct.
Thank you. I think below that we have some information about the address. Having pressed continue at the bottom of that left-hand tile, you then would have been taken to the next screen, which is one from the right. Is that correct?
Correct.
And there you are asked to enter the recipient's birth year. How would you get that?
What, the birth year?
Yes.
You'd ask whoever's receiving the parcel, ask them the name and the age.
Thank you. So you just ask and take the year of birth that's given.
Yeah,
And then you would enter that in the top form there, and below, is this right, you get a notification suggesting what the age
yeah,
is of that person. You're then asked does the recipient look over 25, yes or no? So you then have to assess whether the person you're giving the parcel looks of
Yeah.
age or not. Yeah, thank you. And I say of age over 25. If we look one to the right, so the third tile over, we see what would happen if you were to press no. So if you press no, the recipient, they've given the birth year of 1995, which would make them old enough, but to you, they look under 25. It then says you'll be asked to check for ID for age on the next screen and then continue. And then on the right-hand side, you then enter the information as it appears on the recipient's ID. Is that right? So you
Correct.
then put the details of the
Yeah.
ID in. Can we go to the next set of images, please? Thank you. So if we could just scroll down slightly. So we see there on the left, date of birth. In this scenario, the date of birth is of age. You get the green screen. And then on the right-hand side, you're able to complete the delivery. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
One of the questions is, what's the recipient's name? Were you expected to take the name of the recipient at this stage?
Yeah. First thing you ask the name and then the age. No, sorry, you ask the age first and then you ask the name after. And then obviously if you need to check the ID, then you check the ID.
Fine. Did you have to enter a name at this stage to continue afterwards?
I'm not sure if it comes before or after, but you do have to type a name in,
You
yes.
have to type a name in. Thank you. Could we go, please, to page 3? So I think we have another scenario here, which again I think is about age verification. And I think we've already effectively seen the content of the top of that. Could we look at the bottom section? Is that, I think, over the page? Thank you. And I think here we just see what would happen if the person gives a year of birth that's old enough and also looks over 25. In those circumstances, you can swipe to finish and complete the delivery.
Yeah.
So that's perhaps the most straightforward scenario. Then please can we go over to page 5. So we see there you asked for the year. In this example it's given as 2010. You continue and you get a red screen saying don't deliver the parcel.
Yeah.
You're presumably not able to complete the delivery on the app at that stage.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah. And you're instructed to take the package home, to refuse delivery, take the package with you.
Yeah, take it back to depot, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Finally, I think page 6. I think this is if someone refused to provide a year of birth. So if we look at the bottom of the first tile, you have recipient won't share year, and in that scenario, you again get that red screen.
Yeah.
And I think the only possible outcome that we haven't seen is if you got to the stage of checking the ID and it showed under 18. I assume in those circumstances you would come to the same red screen.
Return back.
Yeah, thank you. So just to wrap that all up, you ask all customers their year of birth. If the year of birth makes them under 25, then you have to check their ID, correct?
Yeah.
But if they look under 25, in that scenario, you also have to check the ID.
Yeah. It's a good habit to, regardless of what they look like, still ask for the ID.
Thank you. But if they look over 25 and the year of birth is over 25, then you don't need to check an ID.
Correct.
Yeah. Could we have your statement up, please, at page 2, paragraph 8? So I think you give an explanation here of what we've just seen. the delivery process. You don't, I think, mention here that if the year of birth you were given made someone under 25, then you would need to look at their ID. Did you know that at the time?
So you can repeat that, the last bit?
So you say here, I would ask whoever is receiving the parcel for their date of birth. If they looked under 25, I would have to ask them to provide a form of ID, which I would then review. You haven't mentioned here that if they gave a year of birth that made them under 25, they would also have to provide an ID. Did you know that at the time you were making the deliveries?
So that's what we've been told, but what I do, regardless, unless they've got white hair and they obviously look very old, then I won't ask for ID.
Fine.
But if they do look a bit young, I'll definitely ask for ID. Even if they go up to 30, 35 years old, I'll still ask for ID.
Okay. So you were taken through that process by the app. Could we go, please, to page 4 and paragraph 17? You said that as for the age verification, the normal process would be to wait for the customer, ask their age, and then if it's above 18, hand them the parcel. If they look under 18, then ask for ID, and you describe how the app takes you through this. We've seen, haven't we, that actually where you say 18 there, you mean 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elsewhere in your statement, you've used the age 25, but does this show a little bit of confusion about the process that you were supposed to be going through?
No, it's the same process what I used, but obviously I've accidentally written 18 and not 25.
Yeah.
So there's a mistake there.
So you got the age wrong there, but were you in any doubt as to the age when you were making deliveries?
No.
Okay. Can I just ask you about one thing in relation to Condor carriers? Could we have up, please, COND 4033? Thank you. This is the statement of Mr. Pass, who was the director at Condor Carriers. Could we have page 4, please? And if we just look at paragraph 13. So Mr. Pass is talking about the contracts that you had to sign as a contractor for Condor Carriers. And do you see he refers to Schedule 4, which said, clearly state age 18 and the delivery date in the top right-hand corner of the label. So these are contractual requirements that Condor Carriers placed on you. Must be delivered to the address on the delivery label, cannot be left with a neighbour in a secure location as instructed or posted. That's all, I think, consistent with the training you'd been given by Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the last section of that is the policy clearly stated. The policy is always to ask age verification and enter the recipient's birth when prompted by the end user's rabbit application. If the age verification is not provided, return the item to the delivery station. What did you understand that to mean?
So, regardless of what so obviously Amazon, they've got their own app, and if it says if they look over 25, you don't need to ask for them the ID. So, like I've already said, even if they look 30 or 35, I still ask them for ID. So even if they're 18, I'll always check ID. Unless, like I said, if they've got white hair and they obviously look old, I will not ask for the age.
Could we just go up the page and look at paragraph 11 as well, because there's maybe some slightly clearer wording. So looking in the middle, it says the schedule, again to the contract, specified for all AVD, the driver needs to ask for identification. Were you told by Condor Carriers to ask for ID for every age-verified delivery that you did?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you took an approach somewhere between the two. You didn't ask for ID at every delivery, but many
Yes.
of them.
So obviously, in them cases where they look old, I feel like I'm disrespecting them for asking their age. So I just don't ask their age.
You were being given 2 different instructions, one by Amazon and one by Condor carriers. Did you find that confusing?
At the beginning, yes, but with my ride-alongs, they said if you're unsure, just ask for ID straight away.
Thank you. Coming on now, please, to the packaging. Could we have your statement back up, please, on page 4? Thank you, and I'm looking at paragraph 18. You give reflection on improvements, and you say, on reflection, Amazon should label their packages with dangerous items label. Even though it's 18 plus, the drivers may assume it may be alcohol or other adult accessories. And then you give your view that weapons distribution should be banned because it poses a risk to the delivery driver.
Yeah.
Did your view was that the packages only had an 18 plus label on them? Is that right?
Yeah, so normally they'd have 18 plus, corrosive, and heavy items. Mainly, them 3 are the labels that you'll see, but they won't say dangerous package or weapons or, it puts us at risk as well.
Okay. Could we have up, please, AMA 4017? So I think this is some of the training content that you would have been given as part of the training you did as a driver. If we look, please, at page 3. This was the training, and we see there examples of 2 types of package. Do you see in the top right it says for both age 18 plus?
Yeah.
And then in the middle of the page circled, we have on the left age verified and on the right bladed article.
Yeah.
Were you unaware of that bladed article wording?
I've never seen it. I've never seen bladed article ever on the box.
Okay. What would you have looked at on the label when you did the delivery?
So even the 18 plus don't really need to, obviously it's there on the box, I could see it, but it'll also be there on the app, and my eyes are constantly on the app. So it'll say on the app if it's 18 plus.
Okay.
But where there are packages where it's corrosive or bladed article, it's bladed article like it says here. I feel like it needs to be more, like either a different color or more bolded out or more noticeable.
What does the corrosive warning look like?
Normally you'll have like a green stick on it with like the chemical symbol on it.
Did you find that noticeable?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we see here that you were, in your training, you were told the possibility of either age verified or bladed article there. I think your evidence is that you didn't appreciate that at the time you made the deliveries. Is that right?
Yeah, I did not see it. No.
And taking that on, you therefore weren't able to give any sort of warning to someone that you made a delivery about what was inside the package. Is that right?
Yeah, we don't know what's inside the package.
I want to turn, please, now to the delivery on the 15th of July 2024. So to give you the context, we know that 2 knives were delivered to AR, the perpetrator's address at 10 Old School Close on this date, and one of those 2 knives was then used in the attack. You tell us in your statement that you don't remember delivering the parcel, correct?
Yeah, at the time I was contacted, I had no idea what was I'm being contacted about when I written the statement. Still, obviously I had a rough idea about AR and the whole case and about everything. But once I received the video evidence, It's come back to me a bit.
Okay,
And,
we'll
I
look
have-
at those videos, but when you first received a letter from the inquiry, that was
Yeah.
a bolt from the blue for you, was it?
Yeah.
It was a shock, yeah. Let's play the videos. Just before we start them, I'd like to give some context. They're taken from the Ring doorbell camera of AR's next door neighbour. As you look at the video, AR's house is to the right of the camera, and the video starts at 5:40 and 11 seconds in the afternoon on the 15th of July 2024. Could we play that first video? It's ILT 4055. Thank you. So it plays through to 5:40 and 33 seconds, we can see in the bottom right-hand corner. We see dead ahead there your Amazon van, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. You enter the shot, you enter the footage from the right-hand side. You don't come directly from the van, is that right?
I don't come directly from.
So we don't see you walking towards the camera from the van, we see you coming from the right-hand side.
Yeah, so I might have had a delivery that's on the other side of the street. So you probably can't see me coming around the van behind the blue car and then to the neighbour.
Okay. Is it possible that you rung the doorbell at 10 Old School Close next door first and then came
I may have.
this address?
I may have, because it's an 18 plus parcel, just to get that a little bit time kill. Ring the doorbell, drop the other parcel, come back while the AR's address has opened the door.
Just on dropping the other parcel, you wouldn't have been allowed to leave an age-verified item unattended,
never,
would
no.
you? And I think we see in that footage, it might be worth just playing it again as we go through. You're holding one larger parcel and one smaller one.
So the one that looks like a box, I'm assuming is going to AR's house.
So that one that we see there.
Yeah,
and
so
then
I'll
on
put the
top,
smaller
we
one
see a
down.
smaller one which you put down, and then you walk back over. Yeah, thank you very much. The next video doesn't start immediately after the end of that one. Might that be because it's motion activated, the doorbell camera? I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next video starts 10 seconds after the last video at 5:40 and 42 seconds. That's ILT 4056. Can we have that played, please? So I think we'll now see you reversing away. You're back in shot, walking away from 10 Old School Close at 5:40 and 47 seconds. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And you're no longer holding the larger parcel at that stage.
Yeah.
You seem to be using your app or the phone. Do you know what you would have been doing?
So trying to move on to my next stop, but obviously I've done a U-turn and I forgot to scan the parcel behind this black car off. So I've come back, no one's taken it, so I've put it in a hidden place, taken a picture of it, then got on my way.
Do you have to scan all packages before you deliver them?
Yeah, so we scan it, then hand them over, yeah.
Yeah. When you're stood at the door to this address in the first video,
Yeah.
you're looking to your left, the viewer on this video's right, towards 10 Old School Close. You then put that first package down and walk over, but without scanning it.
So I've scanned, say, I scan both of them,
Yeah.
when coming out of the van. So I've probably scanned both of them. I've knocked on AR's door, then I've gone to the neighbour's door. While AR's getting the door, I've doing this parcel here, the neighbour's parcel, and then because AR's opened the door, I'm guessing, I've gone to talk with him, sort his parcel out. At the same time, I've also rang this door, the neighbour's door. So assuming that they've taken their parcel by now, I've walking back to my van, but obviously I've not completed it on my app. So I've come back and I've seen the parcel still behind the car. So that's why I moved it.
Okay. So you think that you might have pressed the door to 10 Old School Close, gone to the neighbour's property, started the delivery there, seen the door open at 10 Old School Close, put the package down, gone over to 10 Old School Close and completed the delivery there, and then finished the delivery at the neighbour's property. Thank you. The video has sound, and one can hear voices shortly before you walk away from 10 Old School Close, AR's property. So the inquiry's used an audio forensic expert, Mr. Paul Baker, to try to enhance that audio. I'm not going to play it in court. I don't think the sound will probably come out very well here, but just for your note, Mr. Baker's given a declaration which is at MERP 008150, and the two audio files that he's created are MERP 008148 and 8149. Mr. Ali, you've heard those audio clips before you gave evidence today. Did they assist your memory in determining in any way who you delivered the parcel?
No chance.
Thank you. The time that we see from you being at the neighbour's property to AR's property and then appearing back in shot is 23 seconds. So it's 23 seconds from you leaving 8 Old School Close to you reappearing in that camera walking away from the property. Is that long enough to carry out an age-verified delivery?
Yeah, more than ample time, yeah.
Thank you. We know from Mr. Bountfrey's statement from Amazon, which is, but we don't, I think, need it up, AMA 4081, paragraph 17.7, that the age that was entered into the app for this delivery, the year of birth was 1978. It's the inquiry's understanding that AR's father's year of birth was 1975 and his mother's was 1972. And so far as we're aware, there wasn't another adult living at the property. Are you able to help with why the year recorded doesn't seem to match the year of the two adults living at the property?
I don't remember. Whoever's answered the door gave me 1978, you said? Yeah, so whatever age they've given me, I've written 1978.
Would you in any circumstances just put a year in to
Never.
complete the delivery?
No.
Okay. If you were given that year of birth and the recipient looked old enough to you, you wouldn't need to review an ID, correct?
No.
From that 1978 year of birth entered, how confident are you that you gave the knives to an adult?
If they are 1978 and they were saying the truth, then obviously they're old enough to take the knives. I'm comfortable with it.
If you were to have seen AR who was 17 at the time, is there any way that you could have entered 1978 in the app and given the parcel over?
No.
When you met the recipient at 10 Old School Close, you would have asked them their year of birth to get the 1978 back, correct? But you wouldn't have told them there are knives in this package.
No.
Is that right?
I wouldn't know myself that there's knives in the package.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to say?
No, nothing much.
Thank you. Just look to see if there are any other questions. No. Thank you.
You've been extremely clear in your evidence. Thank you very much indeed for coming. We're grateful to you. You can withdraw now. Yes. Mr. Boyle, we're moving on to the next witness now, I think, aren't we?
Yes.
I have left something downstairs, so we're going to rise just for 5 minutes while I collect it, and then I'll come back.
Thank you very much.
Sincerely and truly declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you very much. Please have a seat.
Mr. Bounfrey, could you give your full name, please?
John Bounfrey.
Thank you. You are the Vice President and Amazon UK and Ireland Country Manager, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I understand that you have something that you'd like to say at the start of your evidence.
Yes, please. I'm just going to read from a short statement that I've written. Before I begin my evidence, I want to acknowledge the profound impact of the devastating events of the 29th of July 2024. A few weeks ago, I came to Liverpool to hear firsthand the deeply moving impact statements from some of the individuals and families whose lives were forever changed that day. Their powerful testimonies of trauma, grief, resilience, and of bravery will stay with me forever. I was deeply shocked and saddened by these tragic events, and my thoughts remain with all those affected. While I recognise that nothing can undo what happened, I am committed to playing an active and constructive role in this inquiry's vital work. Amazon takes its responsibilities extremely seriously, and we are determined to be part of ensuring that such a tragedy can never happen again.
Thank you, Mr. Malmfrey. I just want to go through your statements, please. Can we first have AMA 4081 on the screen? So, is this right? This is your first and substantive statement?
Correct.
Thank you. And it's dated the 14th of August 2025. Are you able to confirm that's true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Could we have AMA 4083 on screen, please? That's your second statement dated the 16th of September 2025, where you addressed Amazon's internal review, the sale of smoke grenades that we'll come on to, and updated on changes Amazon had made to online age verification and age-verified delivery. Is that right?
That is right, yes.
Thank you. And can you confirm that is true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Thank you. And the third is AMA 30110. And in this statement, which is dated the 29th of September, you made corrections which will come on to the table of AR's order history and addressed Amazon's involvement in the police investigation. Is that right?
That is right, yes.
Thank you. And again, is this true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
It is.
Thank you. I want to start, please, with your own backgrounds, Mr. Bounfrey. You've been Vice President and Country Manager for Amazon since 2020, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you. In brief, can you tell us what that role entails?
I'm responsible for three things. First of all, I'm responsible for the business of Amazon.co.uk, and that means that I'm ultimately the person responsible for customers' purchase and delivery experience using Amazon.co.uk. Secondly, I'm responsible for the 75,000 people who work for Amazon in the UK. And thirdly, I'm responsible for engaging externally, whether that's with policymakers, with journalists, or indeed with various community organisations.
You've been in retail for 19 years and previously were trading director at Homebase, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you. And you joined Amazon back in 2011.
Yes.
What areas of Amazon's work have you been in between 2011 and 2020?
I've worked within our retail business I've worked in different divisions, different product categories, if you will, and I've always been in broad commercial roles.
You tell us in your first statement that you were assisted by Mr. Thomas Winkler, who's Director of the Trustworthy Shopping Experience Europe. Are you able to just explain in plain English what that role means?
So that role focuses on a lot of compliance topics, and that would include, for example, the online age verification process.
Thank you. And you were also assisted by Ms. Nicola Fife, who's Vice President of Amazon Logistics Europe, and I assume that are related to the actual logistics of completing deliveries. Is that right?
Correct. The final mile, as it's sometimes called, yes.
Thank you. So we should understand that you're familiar with the systems in place, but you're not a specialist in the technical processes that sit behind online age verification or delivery. Is
Correct.
that right? Thank you. And you've worked with Mr. Winkler and Ms. Fife to be able to answer the questions that the inquiry has put to you and to prepare for your evidence.
That's correct, yes.
Thank you. Moving on, please, to Amazon's structure and processes. I suspect that those listening don't need much introduction to Amazon, but a few points of detail. Firstly, the scale of Amazon in the UK. I've no issue with approximations to these questions if I'm putting you on the spot. But are you able to give me an idea of the number of items listed on Amazon UK?
It's in excess of 250 million items.
And how many items are sold a day?
I would have to work that out.
A week or a month or a year if you know.
Well, if I told you that last year we shipped more than 1 billion parcels across the UK. So it's millions per day.
Thank you. You mentioned you have 75,000 staff in the UK. Can you, in outline, just explain how the staff are structured? So what the divisions, for example, are in Amazon?
There are a large number of different divisions within Amazon. The majority of our people would work in our operations teams, typically in our warehouses or fulfillment centres. We also have the retail business, which I lead, as well as other divisions, which would include things like Amazon Web Services, which is our cloud computing division, or Prime Video, which is the TV and movie production distribution arm of Amazon.
And Amazon retail, so you've talked about people, if I can put it colloquially, working in the warehouse. In terms of central management, is that sort of at HQ structured in a certain way?
In terms of the retail business, whether in addition to the people working in the warehouse, there are people who will work in the centre whose job it is will be to buy the products, to manage the supply chain, yes, they would be central functions.
And are those working on the technical side of the website in retail?
Some of them are. Many of them will be working in different teams across the business.
Thank you. And perhaps we'll touch on these structures as we go through the process. Is this right? There are two ways that products are offered in store. Firstly, Amazon retail, and secondly, by sellers making their own sales. Could you explain that distinction?
Yes, absolutely. The first way that products are sold on the site is when Amazon buys the product from the supplier, sets the price, and lists them on the website. The second way is when a seller, typically a third-party business, they buy the product, they set the price, and they then list them on Amazon. And those two parts of the business sit side by side so that when customers are shopping on amazon.co.uk, they will see products offered both by Amazon Retail first party and by third-party sellers as well.
Thank you. So I think that the Amazon retail structure is for a layperson fairly easy to understand. For sellers that are making sales on the Amazon website, what level of oversight does Amazon itself have of those sales?
So it might be helpful if I explain the two different types of ways in which sellers can fulfill their items, because the answer differs between the two of them.
Yes.
Amazon offers a service called Fulfillment by Amazon, and in that case, the seller will send their products into an Amazon warehouse, and Amazon will own the end-to-end distribution of that product to the end customer. In that case, Amazon takes responsibility for the fulfillment, including the final mile. The other option for a seller is that they would take responsibility for the logistics and the distribution of the product. That's known as merchant fulfillment network. And they're the two ways. In both cases, Amazon would have visibility of the product that's being listed, but the extent of responsibility about the delivery and the logistics would vary between the two.
Okay. So in all cases, obviously, Amazon is the owner of the website and therefore has, I don't know if we can talk about it in these terms, but custody of the listing. It's on Amazon's website that the listing goes up.
Correct.
Clearly. And Amazon therefore has oversight of those listings. Is that right?
Yes, that would be fair.
Thank you. But as you've explained, in the merchant fulfillment network side of things, Amazon doesn't actually have physical possession of the product at any stage.
Correct.
And in the fulfillment by Amazon route, Amazon only gets possession from the delivery stage. Is that right? Might have slightly oversimplified that.
The seller will send the product prior to delivery, so the seller will ship all of their items to Amazon, so they'll be stored in the warehouse, and at such a point as an item is ordered by a customer, it would then be distributed to that customer. So we would take ownership, we would receive that item further upstream in the process.
Thank you for clarifying. You tell us in your statement that unsurprisingly, sellers are required to comply with all applicable laws, rules, and regulations by their agreement with Amazon.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, thank you. Bladed articles can only be sold via Amazon retail, so that's directly by Amazon, or by sellers who use fulfillment by Amazon, which is where you have custody of the item before it's delivered, correct?
That is correct.
And can you explain why that is?
I think following the Offensive Weapons Act that came into force and the requirement for the extra requirements for bladed products, we made a decision that because we have more oversight and control over the Amazon's element of the fulfillment network, retail and FBA, we made a decision to restrict bladed products to just those channels.
So is that a sort of control mechanism on the way in which bladed articles are, particularly the way they're delivered?
Yes.
And while we're on delivery, we've touched on this with Mr. Ali, but I think there are three mechanisms for that. One is Amazon Flex, which is a self-employed independent contractor who use their own vehicle to make deliveries. One is a delivery service provider, which is a third-party company that contract delivery service provider drivers to make deliveries using Amazon vans. Is that right?
That's correct.
And the third is that Amazon will use third-party carriers such as Royal Mail, but that's particularly in remote areas which aren't covered by DSPs or Flex. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you very much. I want to come on to the legal framework around sales, and just in terms of what is allowed to be sold by Amazon. Later we'll talk about the legal requirements on deliveries. So you tell us in your statement that Amazon doesn't sell products which are prohibited by law. No great surprise there.
Which paragraph is this, Mr.
It's paragraph 7.
Thank you very much.
But you do sell products that are legal but subject to age restrictions, such as kitchen knives.
That is correct.
Thank you. Are you able to give a broad figure of the number of bladed articles sold a year by Amazon?
We sell millions of bladed items per year.
Thank you. And you tell us at your paragraph 5 that that you take the responsibility around the sale and delivery of bladed articles extremely seriously. And you tell us at your paragraph 7, could we have that on the screen, please? It's page 2, paragraph 7. And I'm just looking at the middle of that paragraph. We have worked, about a third up from the bottom, we've worked and continue to work on our processes relating to the sale and delivery of bladed articles to ensure that we comply with the law and are sufficiently mitigating any risks of harm to customers or their communities. Just as a general question, is Amazon looking to meet its legal obligations or do more?
We will always look to meet our legal obligations, and where there are opportunities to improve our processes or increase the manner in which we deliver safely to customers, we are always looking at ways we can do that.
Thank you. I think perhaps we can see that in the context of what is defined as weapons and the type of bladed articles that you will sell. Could we have AMA 501 on the screen, please? So we have here the Amazon guidance on weapons, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
And we have examples of permitted listings here, and at the bottom of the page we have this bullet-pointed list, which is examples of permitted listings because they're not classified as weapons. That includes bows, and the inquiry's heard evidence about that. Palette knives by giving examples, sword blades, scissors, etc. Knives included in ordinary cutlery sets with forks and spoons. I don't think kitchen knives are specifically mentioned here, but they are a permitted item, is that right?
That is correct. My understanding of this document, at the top it says Seller Central. I believe this may be guidance that is available to all third-party sellers, including merchant fulfilled. So in other words, merchant fulfilled network sellers would not be permitted to sell kitchen knives. However, FBA sellers would, and I believe this needs to be looked at in conjunction with the other exhibit around FBA prohibited items.
Understood.
I believe.
Okay. So it's a slightly more restrictive listing because merchant fulfillment network sellers are not allowed to sell.
Correct, yes.
Thank you. I think for our context, we only need to look over leaf. The next page, please, at the examples of prohibited listings. And I think relevant to some of the other evidence we've heard, we see on that list crossbows, and if we look at the last bullet-pointed list, we see machetes, scythes, swords are not permitted. And is it right that's not permitted not just by the merchant fulfillment network sellers, but all sellers on Amazon?
That's correct. We have a global policy that we will not sell items whose primary purpose we believe to be a weapon.
Thank you. So you take a broader definition of weapon than some of the other knife retailers that we've heard of from in the last few
Correct.
years.
Carry on, Mr. Parr. Thank you very much.
I will ask you later about your wider reflections of retail in this area, but I think you refer in your statement to Amazon liaising with the police and the Home Office on the sale of knives, and that Amazon is a signatory to the Home Office's voluntary agreement on the responsible sale of knives and has been since 2016. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you. I want to move on, please, to the listing on Amazon of age-verified items. And consider the measures that Amazon takes to stop prohibited products from being listed on the Amazon website, and also to ensure that age-restricted products are identified and handled appropriately. I think we've already covered that under the terms of the agreement with the seller, they're not permitted to put those sort of items as a listing.
Correct.
when someone lists an item, is that reviewed by Amazon on every occasion? So when someone submits, for example, the photographs of the item?
That would go through automated review by Amazon systems, yes.
Thank you. And how does that automated review work without going into technical detail?
I don't have the detail in front of me, but broadly speaking, when a seller lists a product on Amazon, we would go through a number of checks. We would provide guidance as to how that item should be listed, and we would subsequently, to the best of my understanding, run checks to see whether that item has been listed in the correct category with the right designations around it.
So, again, in broad terms, if a photograph of the item is uploaded, that is reviewed by automated technology initially. Is that right?
That is my understanding. I would want to go and check with the relevant technical team, but that is my understanding of how that works.
Thank you. But regardless of the stage at which it happens, I think you tell us at your paragraph 21 that there are keyword filters, automated imaging technology, and human reviews of listings as well, correct?
That is absolutely true, yes, that's right.
At your paragraph 21.7, you tell us that there are screening tools and processes, machine learning and keyword-based classifiers. Are those partially automated techniques which are used to try and catch items that are being listed?
They would be predominantly automated, given the number of items that we sell and the number of changes that happen. They would be largely automated systems, yes.
There's a code of conduct for sellers, and you also publish educational content and hold training sessions for sellers too. Is that right?
That's correct.
But I think we've seen evidence unrelated to Amazon which might suggest that not all sellers can be relied upon to comply with such agreements. How is that policed by Amazon? Is it through the techniques that we have covered?
Yes, it would be.
And aside from the automated technology, what human level of intervention is there in the listing of products and reviewing listing of products?
To the best of my understanding, automated systems would flag up items that are incorrectly listed, and that would happen in an automated way. There will be some where judgment is required, and they would be flagged up for a manual reviewer. So the systems will predominantly work in an automated way, but in certain cases, my understanding is they would then be flagged up for review by one of our team.
Is this right? Did you say that there were 1 billion items listed on Amazon UK?
We list more than 250 million individual products,
Yes.
but we delivered, or rather we shipped more than 1.2, I think, billion products last year.
Thank you. Sorry, thank you. Clearly, that would be beyond many companies' ability to keep track on through human resources. Do you know how many people Amazon has that are applying this human level of review in addition to the automated technology?
Would you mind if I just reminded myself the witness statement, because I think in the paragraph you just talked about, we might actually mention how many people we have working on it.
So I was actually looking at paragraph 21.7, which is at page 19.
Take your time with this, Mr. Bunbury.
Thank you.
But I think
we actually refer to it in 21.1, we say thousands of people. So there are thousands of people who are employed to deal with this on a global basis.
Thank you. And are you satisfied that these mechanisms are effective?
Largely speaking, yes.
Okay. I think you do give us a figure that age-restricted products in January of this year were 99% correctly attributed with appropriate classifiers. Is that right? It's
That is correct, yes.
21.07, yeah. But of course, that's 99% of quite a large number. So,
Absolutely. Our goal is 100%. My understanding is that the majority of the products that in the 0.81% would be products that were brand new, that had not yet been listed on the website and that would be caught by automated systems. But our goal is 100% very clearly.
so there is a level of check before something actually goes live on the website, is that right?
Correct.
Thank you.
And human check or automated check?
Predominantly automated, it would be, yeah.
But how would you know whether there needs to be a human check? So if you're saying it's predominantly automated, there must be some mechanism for deciding that a human check is going to take place in relation to a particular item. How does that happen?
Well, I don't have operational oversight of that team. My understanding is that the items that meet all the criteria would automatically go through and be listed. Where there are items that perhaps don't quite meet all the criteria, or there is some grey area, they would be flagged for human review. But given the volume of products that we are listing and selling, we would attempt to handle those in an automated way wherever possible.
I understand. That's very helpful. Sorry, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, sir. Could we have AMA 4039 and page 2? So we have here a stepwise process of purchasing the knife, and for now I'm going beyond the process of opening an account, which I will come to next. But just while we look at what's listed on the website, I think we see, to start with, an example of a search for knife, and then I think we can see the results below. If we could then go to the next page, please. So this is now an individual listing for a chef's knife. Is that right?
It looks like that, yes.
Yeah. And we see at the bottom, age verification required. Could we just scroll down? Is there a bit more text there? Thank you. So when age verified items are listed, there is this warning that age verification is required. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you. Before we move through the process of purchasing that knife, I now want to come on to opening an account. And then we'll move through to making an order, delivery and receipt of that order. Opening an account, which you deal with at section 14 of your witness statement. Could we go to page 1, please, of that document? Thank you, and could we zoom into step 1? The top half of the page. Thank you very much. So is this the page that someone sees when they have to open an Amazon account?
It is, yes.
And we see there the details that are required: a name, mobile number, and password. Is that right?
Correct. Mobile number or email, yes.
Thank you. Do we see in the small writing under continue the conditions of use and sale? So by creating an account, you agree to Amazon's conditions of use and sale.
That's right.
Thank you. Could we zoom out, please, on that exhibit and into step 2? If we could just zoom into enlarge step 2. Thank you very much. So there is a term and condition which relates to children, correct? To access this, you would have to click on the link that we saw in the previous page. Is that right?
You would, correct, yes.
So you're not obliged to look at this to open an account, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And the term is that we don't sell products for purchase by children. We sell children's products for purchase by adults. If you're under 18, you may use the Amazon services only with the involvement of a parent or guardian. Are you able to help us with what's meant by the involvement of a parent or guardian?
One example might be that there is a parent has set up an account, and the under 18 may be also able to shop on that account with the permission, knowledge of the parent.
In your paragraph 14.2, you make an analogy with a child going into a shop and say most retailers online have a similar practice, and that physical retailers don't prevent children from coming into their store to shop. Do you remember that?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Would you accept that the position might be a little bit different for Amazon given the range of products on sale?
I think it would depend on the retailer, but I would accept it may be different for Amazon.
Yeah, but perhaps it'll be easier when we come to some examples. There's no requirement when opening this identification, when opening an account to provide an ID or a date of birth. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah. And realistically, do you think many customers are clicking on the terms and conditions and reading that term about children?
I don't know, but I don't imagine many customers would.
At your paragraph 14.1, you give us some detail about what AR did. So I'd like to just look at this within that context. You tell us that AR opened an account on the 25th of April 2019 using his email address amegalania7@yahoo.com. Do you know what name he used to open the account?
I believe that may be in the order history exhibit.
We'll come to look at it. A lot of just before we pull it up, a lot of the entries just show AR.
Okay.
Could he have just entered AR?
It could be. We don't put any restrictions around what a customer puts in an account name. We know that many customers will set up accounts that may have the word gift in the title or business or a nickname. We don't place any restrictions on what the account name per se is.
Okay. So when we look at that top left, your name, actually you don't require a given name to be put
Correct.
there.
No.
You say that AR was required to link a credit or debit card to his account, and you explained to us at 14.4 that he made purchases using his parents' cards initially, as well as his own. But I think from the 27th of October 2021, he was using his card only. Is that right?
I believe that's correct.
Thank you. Could we have, please, document MERP 001464? So, Mr. Bounfrey, just to give you context to this, it's a review of what are called cached files that were found on AR's tablet, which was exhibit SMG3 by Merseyside Police. So this was a tablet found when AR's property was searched after the attack. And just to give you context, the earliest date I think we found of data that's been pulled from this tablet is the 22nd of June 2021. So I won't pull up the background evidence to that, but the citation is MERP 007633. And this was described as the old tablet because it was used less after AR received a further tablet, SMG2. So the majority of the use of this tablet was from 2021 to 2023. And a full download was taken of that tablet. And the Merseyside Police investigation have extracted some of the files, which we see at the top, images assessed as possible evidence for the Hart Street attack. So they've extracted, as we can see there, images that might have been relevant to the attack. Could we zoom in on the top left, please? So we see, I think, on the left-hand side the file name, and on the right-hand side we see, I think, some of the data that sits behind the image, and we can see, do you see there, it's obviously it's a string, but it says amazon.mshop.android. Would that indicate to you that these images might have come from the Amazon app on Android?
It looks that way, yes. It looks these may be part of his browsing history.
Thank you. And just zooming out again, do those images look like the sort of images you might see on a listing on Amazon?
They do.
Yeah. And just take my word for it, every single one of those file paths has Amazon in the username. Can we scroll through those to the bottom of page 3? Just to the bottom of page 3, please. Are you able to help us with that image at the bottom, what that might be of?
I believe that is a bill hook.
Okay, and what's that used for?
I believe it's used for gardening or agriculture.
Thank you. And can we just scroll through the rest of those to the end, please? Thank you. Mr. Bounfrey, we see at the bottom there perhaps a good example, secateurs. I think most of these items might have had mainstream uses, secateurs, axes, the bill hook. But would you agree that scrolling through that it suggests that AR was able to view an arsenal of weapons when he was browsing on Amazon? Well, sorry, let me put that more specifically. Items that could have been used in the wrong hands as weapons.
It's very difficult to look at that list, but yes, I would agree with you.
Thank you. And you say, I think, that only a small percentage of items on Amazon are age restricted, but clearly to a determined person looking for them, they can be found, can't they?
Items, you mean items that are age restricted?
So some of
yes.
those items would have been age restricted?
Yes,
the axes,
they can be found, yes.
Yeah. Would you agree that that is not content that a 15-year-old, which is how old AR was in 2022, should be browsing?
As I said, it's very difficult to look at a list of products knowing what subsequently happened, and a lot of these items are legal, and they're legal for 15-year-olds to purchase, but it is, yeah, as I say, it's difficult to look at this list.
So I understand your answer about the hindsight risk here, but actually, isn't this illuminating what certain people might do if they have access to your website?
Possibly, yes.
And there were no mechanisms to stop a child from being able to browse this content other than the term in the conditions, is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah. Of course, if a child can browse those, and we'll come on to some of the purchases, but it makes it easier for them to attempt to buy it if they have an account, doesn't it?
I suppose if they're able to access the website, they can both browse and purchase, so yes.
Putting this correctly, they could browse without an account, but the account is the mechanism to take the step to buying.
Correct.
Yeah. We'll come on to the purchases, but we see secateurs there. We know another purchase was a sledgehammer, by way of example. There was no age verification to stop the sale of the sledgehammer or, for example, the arrows that we've seen.
That's correct.
In that image, yeah. And so while a sledgehammer might have a good use in a number of scenarios, would you agree that it's unlikely to be put to good use by a 15-year-old teenager living in Banks?
I know that 16-year-olds, children of any age, could go into a DIY store, but if you had a 16-year-old who was working as a labourer, they could walk into a DIY shop and purchase a sledgehammer for completely legitimate purposes, and those items aren't age-restricted in law.
Yeah. So it's actually, this becomes more worrying perhaps when you look at things in the round, and I'll come up and wrap things at the end, but having now seen that, would you agree that there's a case for requiring someone to have an ID to open an account?
In your specific question of whether having ID at the start of opening an account, I'm not sure if that is the way to prevent this from happening. I'm not aware of any retailers that do ID checks before opening an account, and you would run the risk of an adult opens an account and a child in the household is still able to look at the items. So the way we would think about that is where items require age verification by law or by our policies, but by law, we would make sure that those items have the strict controls around them, if that makes sense.
But recognising firstly that you won't capture every single age verification because you don't have 100% success, and also that some of these items, whilst they might have legitimate use, could be used in the wrong hands as a weapon. Doesn't that point towards some sort of check on the age of person opening an account?
I understand where that line of questioning comes from. We would want to make sure that customers are able to come in and browse with customers who have legitimate reasons are able to come in and browse. And like other retailers, we wouldn't want to make that harder for people with legitimate purposes to come in and do so. So I understand where the question comes from, but I'm not sure that would be an approach that we'd want to take.
Just on the bill hook, was that something that should have been listed on Amazon?
I had a look at bill hook when I received this evidence 3 days ago. That particular product is not available. I would need to go and refresh my memory. I believe it is not permitted by any third-party seller, and it is no longer available on Amazon, but I would need to check the specifics.
Is there a risk that that's something that, to put it colloquially, slipped through the net?
That is possible.
Just on the same topic, but a slightly different issue, you have given us the standard operating procedure for closing an account for an under 18. So again, I don't intend to put it up, but just for your note, AMA 4055. That includes action that would be taken by Amazon if a parent or guardian reports that a minor has set up an account without permission. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
So if a parent were to contact Amazon and say, I'm worried about the purchases my child is making, what would Amazon do in response?
I think you're referring to the exhibit, which is the guidance that we give to customer services. In the event we were made aware of a minor using an account without the supervision or permission of a parent or guardian, we would take action to close that account.
So is that an appropriate moment to break?
It is, Mr. Boyle, thank you. While we have been sitting, there has been tragic breaking news in relation to an attack on those attending a synagogue in Manchester. A number of people were stabbed, certainly injuries of significance. I don't know at the moment as to whether any individuals have died. This will obviously have an impact on all of us involved in this inquiry, but of course, most particularly the victims and the families whose circumstances we are particularly investigating. And I'm sure that you would all join with me in sending our best wishes to all of those and our thoughts and condolences to all of those who have been affected by what has happened in Manchester this morning. I will sit again at 5 to 12. Yes, Mr. Boyle.
Mr. Bamfrey, I want to now please ask you about AR's order history in general terms, and then we'll move on to some of the orders. Amazon provided the inquiry with a spreadsheet of AR's purchase, including the name of the retailer. Is that right?
Including the retailer?
Which included the name of the online retailer or the name of the person that listed the item.
The seller of the product,
Seller.
yes, correct.
Yes,
Yes.
sorry, that's the correct word. And you tell us in your third witness statement there was an error in copying across the seller information so that some sellers were listed incorrectly. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. And also that if one item in an order had been cancelled, the spreadsheet showed that all items in that order had been cancelled.
That is correct.
You've now provided corrected versions of the spreadsheet, which are AMA 4096 and AMA 4097. Please, could we pull up AMA 4096? Thank you. And I just wanted to, can we start by scrolling to the left, so that we're at column A? Sorry, other way. Thank you. So we see the site there, the order date, time, IP address, customer email. Column F is customer name. Is that the name of the account holder?
I would need to check whether it's the account holder. I think if you scroll to the right-hand side, maybe the name of the recipient is also, I believe, in there.
Yeah. So we have, I think, that first row, which we saw as customer name, and if we keep going, sorry, I think we want column AC. Thank you. So we see the shipping name there.
I see.
Yeah. And then if we keep going still to column AT, we have the CC name. Is that the card name?
I believe that is, yes.
Thank you. And as we mentioned before, there are some transactions. Some of the early purchases were done with AR's parents' cards.
Yep.
But from October 21, they're from AR's throughout. So sorry, does that help with the question about
It does. I believe that is the name on the account, yes, to answer your question.
Could we just go back to that, please? It was column F. The name changes. So we see the first 5 transactions are in the name of Daniel Ryson, which would suggest that AR was using a false name initially. Do you see that?
I see he used Daniel Ryson, yes.
The name changes. Is it possible to change the name that's associated with an account? Do you know?
I believe it is relatively straightforward to do so.
So it looks like AR might have changed the name that was with an account. And if we just scroll down that column F, I think we can see that most of the purchases are made simply with AR. Sorry, all are apart from the initial. Thank you. I won't scroll through it because we can see the headings at the top, but we've also got the order dates, the IP address, which we can see in column D, which we see changes a fair amount. Is that indicating potential use of a VPN?
Of a virtual private network, yes.
Thank you. Column L, you've told us whether age-verified delivery was used. At column O, we have an item description. And we have seen already, scrolled past the prices and the shipping details and billing address. The rows that are in red are corrected from the previous version. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
Thank you. And I think what writing that's now in grey is showing what is cancelled, orders that are cancelled. Does that sound right to you?
That does.
Thank you. And I think the change that results from the amendment to the spreadsheet in particular is in relation to the retailers of the bows and arrows and which of those purchases were effective. Does that sound right to you?
It does, yes.
So the knock-on effect is we'll need to issue a correction to the opening statement and also issue further Rule 9s to the new retailers, which we will do. Could we pull up, please, document AMA 3046? This document has its 3 zeros, not 4, like the others, if that helps, Sarah. So this is a letter from Amazon's recognised legal representative about disclosure to the inquiry. Do you see it's dated on the right-hand side, 10th of July, 2025? Could we go to page 3, please? So, in a series of requests and a number of responses, and request 5 was the names and companies of personnel involved in the delivery of all age-verified delivery products purchased by AR. And the responses, as stated above, the only age-restricted items AR purchased and received was the one order of the 2 knives. Is that right in terms of delivery, but only a partial answer in terms of online age verification?
I believe that is true in the case of items that were delivered through Amazon that were age-restricted, if that makes sense.
But we now know that some of the smoke grenades that were sold should have been subject to age verification. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. And you say, I think, in your second statement, so I won't pull it up, but it's second statement, paragraph 4.51.
Thank you.
That an error was made about whether the smoke grenade should have been age verified in Amazon's own internal review as well.
That's correct. In the review that we conducted on the 7th of February, there was a statement suggesting that smoke grenades did not require age verification. That was incorrect. They do require, we believe, age verification.
So that was only appreciated at a later stage of investigation.
That's right.
Do you know why it is that Amazon wasn't immediately aware about the need for age verification for smoke grenades?
I don't, I'm afraid.
I appreciate that the spreadsheet was a manual error, and they're certainly not mistakes that were made by you, but do they raise any questions about Amazon's ability to keep track of its retailers and listings?
Well, first of all, I would like to apologise for the error that was made. The underlying data is correct. We made a manual error in how we pull that together. I do not have concerns around the underlying data.
Could we have up, please, your third statement, AMA 30110? Thank you. And could we have page 2 and paragraph 4.5? So we see there the revised number of purchases made by AR, and I just pull that up to give that background. 48 orders, of which many were cancelled in 22, and lessening numbers of transactions as time went on. Just while we're looking at this, we see that AR would quite frequently purchase items, cancel them, and then we see as well from that table that he would then sometimes order that item again. From Amazon's perspective, is there any reason for him to have done that?
I don't know if there's a reason from our perspective, but cancelling orders is something that happens very frequently.
Could it have been any attempt to try and bypass age verification methods on the website?
I don't know. With hindsight, that's certainly possible, but I don't know why he cancelled them at the time.
Do you have any reason to think that that would have been successful?
And no, if he cancelled as a way of bypassing and that would have worked, no, that would not have worked.
Thank you. I want to move to, please, one of AR's purchases, which was for castor seeds, and at around the same time alcohol and apparatus, laboratory-type apparatus, and that was in January to February 2022. And before we come to the purchase itself, could we have up the statement of Catherine Elsmore, which is HOM 4078? Just to explain, Mr. Bamfrey, Ms. Elsmore is the witness for the Home Office, for the Home Secretary. So if we could just turn over the page, please, and keep going, sorry, to the start of the statement. Thank you. So we see that Ms. Elsmore's actually a director of Prevent, but she's assisted us in relation to poisons and other matters. Could we turn to page 85 of that statement? So there's a section here where Ms. Elsmore sets out the legislation relating to ricin and castor beans. I'm just going to paraphrase what is said there, but you can see it on the text and tell me if you disagree. But castor beans are not illegal to possess or grow in the UK, and they're available in garden centres, online seed retailers and online marketplaces. Is that your experience as well?
That is my experience, yes.
Thank you. Ricin, on the other hand, is an offence to manufacture or retain under Section 1 of the Biological Weapons Act and Section 2 of the Chemical Weapons Act. And AR was charged with an offence under the Biological Weapons Act after the attack on the basis that he had used castor beans to make a crude preparation of ricin. Thank you. If we could turn over the page, please, just at the bottom we see that alcohol that was also purchased, that's not age restricted in its pure form, is that right?
That's my understanding, yes.
Thank you. And the Home Office says that the purchases that were made were not illegal, and that it continues to keep dangerous materials under review to ensure appropriate regulation and controls for sales are in place. Thank you. If we just zoom out from that just back to the page. Thank you very much. Could we go back, please, to the spreadsheet? That's AMA 4096, just to see the purchases that were made. Thank you. I don't know if we're looking at row 34. If it's possible to highlight that, that would be helpful, or select it. Brilliant. Thank you very much. So we see the purchase from Premier Seeds Direct, and if we're able to scroll across, we will see that the purchase was made for £7 on the 19th of January in column Z. If we keep going, the shipping name was to Alphonse R, so AR's father. The address was 8 School Close, so AR's neighbour's address. And if we keep going across, please, we see the billing name is given as Al Rudd. That doesn't match the card name. Would that be sufficient for the purchase to go through?
The billing name, I believe it would be sufficient for that to go through.
Because we see it in column AT, AR's full name there. Thank you. Mr. Bounfrey, just through you, I just wanted to raise the evidence of Philip Redman, who's the Managing Director of Premier Seeds Direct. So it's going to be summarised later, so I'll just give the reference, which is Prem 502, and he will say that recognising that the provision of bulk packing of the seeds was increasing access to a larger number, they've taken a decision to reduce the packet size after this has been brought to their attention. Are restrictions on the quantity of things like this something that Amazon considers?
It can be. As a retailer, we're not experts in quantities of certain products, and we would typically rely on government or law enforcement guidance around those.
Thank you. So I'm just going to come on to that point in a bit more detail, but before I do, I'm sorry to jump back to the spreadsheet, but if we could just have that up again, AMA 4096. I just want to finish off this order because we see in row 38 that the purchase of alcohol, so 99% alcohol there, which I think was on the same day on the 19th. I think if we scroll to the right, we should get the date. Sorry, to the left, thank you. If we look at rows 39 to 47, we also see on the 25th of January the purchase of food storage container, measuring cup, conical flask, pestle and mortar, safety goggles, and then later in row 48 a Buchner funnel on the 1st of February 2022. It's right, there was no legal restriction on the sale of these items on their own individually, clearly.
Correct.
Yeah. And I just want to ask you about combinations of purchases, because in hindsight we can see that the seeds were bought in relatively close proximity to the items that were then found in AR's bedroom and used to make the ricin. I'm going to ask questions in this area with care because I don't want to draw evidence that might help hostile actors in the future. And so I'm asking you these questions in general terms. I'm not seeking to draw your opinion on any particular combination of purchases. Do you understand?
I do.
Is this right? Under the Poisons Act, there are certain substances which are either regulated or reportable.
Yes.
And some of those substances relate to poisons and others to explosives.
Yes.
To sell a regulated substance, a license is needed. Is that right?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. Reportable substances which are listed in the Poisons Act don't require a license, but retailers are required to monitor their purchase for suspicious activity and report those suspicions to the Home Office. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
And does the Home Office issue guidance to retailers to assist with identifying what a suspicious transaction is for a regulated or reportable item?
They do.
Are you familiar, Mr. Bounfrey, with whether one of the features of the guidance flags that it may be relevant where a customer tries to buy a combination of purchases?
I'm not aware of that specific phrase. I'm broadly aware that that exists, but not the specific details.
And without going into detail, for any regulated or reportable explosives or other precursors under the Poisons Act, is it the case that as an online retailer, you may be able to identify a combination of purchases giving rise to a concern of a suspicious transaction?
That's correct.
But there's no requirement on you as a retailer to report suspicious transactions in respect of other products that don't come within the Poisons Act.
That is correct.
If there was such a requirement for other products, could similar measures be adopted to assist in the identification of these suspicious transactions?
Yes, they could.
Thank you. Just putting to one side the responsibility to report to the Home Office, does Amazon have the technical ability to analyse combinations of purchases internally?
We do have that ability.
Yeah. And does Amazon consider carrying out its own analysis on purchases of these sorts to ensure that they're not to be selling to someone who is a hostile actor?
We typically wouldn't do that. As a retailer, we would not be experts in law enforcement or indeed which combinations of products, and that is why we would work very closely with and seek guidance from the Home Office and government as to which combinations of products may be of interest.
Thank you. I'm going to move on, please, to the purchase of the smoke grenades that we've touched on already. If we could have up, please, the spreadsheet again. It's AMA 4096. And we're looking at row 76. So this is a purchase. The seller is Inevitable UK. So we've put a Rule 9 request to them. We raised the response, but they have responded. They have informally responded to it and are in contact with the inquiry. At column O, we see Inevitable party pack of 4 ring pull smoke grenades for paintball, weddings, photo shoots, and special effects. I think we can see from that description that this wasn't a smoke grenade of the sort that might be used by the military or by policing, for example. Is that right?
That's my understanding, yes.
Thank you. If we could scroll to the right, please. We've seen that the customer name, I think, will be AR. And just those initials. If we could stop there, we see the shipping name there. So it's effectively in AR's name, albeit abbreviated. And the same is true for the billing name. Do you see those, Mr. Bounfrey?
I can, yes.
Thank you. And if we could keep scrolling across, we see the credit card name remains AR's own name in full. You tell us in your statement at paragraph 5.2 that Amazon doesn't sell smoke grenades via retail, so Amazon Retail, or fulfillment by Amazon because of the storage and handling conditions. So does that mean Amazon itself is not able or does not wish to store and handle smoke grenades?
That's correct, and indeed the broader category of F2 fireworks that would apply to, yes.
But they can be sold by retailers using the merchant fulfillment network.
That's right.
Their own delivery mechanisms. Can I just ask how that compares with the approach to bladed items? Because on bladed items, you preclude the sale of merchant fulfillment network, and I think you said that was as a kind of control mechanism.
That's right.
But it seems like for smoke grenades, the opposite approach is being taken. You've ceded control to the merchant.
It's less, I think, about an opposite approach and more that those items have a lower level of restriction in law. They're not required to have online age verification, for example. And because of the nature of the product, we're simply unable to carry those items within our warehouses, and therefore we enable sellers to deliver those to customers via the merchant fulfilled network.
Okay. Can we have your statement up which addresses this? So it's AMA 40833 in paragraph 5.3. So over the page, thank you. And if we could zoom in. So as you've already said, these smoke grenades fall within the definition of an F2 firework, and so they should not be made available to under 18-year-olds. And we see there the current listing gives a minimum age limit for purchase to 18 years of age. You see that there?
That's right, yes. At the time that we looked into this, we saw that product had this message on it on the website.
Okay. And the restriction on the sale of these items is not as specific as the restriction on knives, which requires certain measures to be in place. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
But at the same time, it is they're not to be made available to under 18-year-olds.
That's correct.
You're unable to say whether that warning on the website was in place at the time AR made the purchase.
Correct. We don't keep that history of the listings, yes.
Yeah. And is this right? There wouldn't have been an online age verification for the sale of that item?
No.
Okay. Could we have up, please, MERP 007641? And page 8. If we could go straight to page 8 of that, please. So we'll need, I think, to get the evidence from Inevitable UK about how the item was sent. But this is a picture taken by Merseyside Police when they carried out searches of AR's home, and we can see one of these smoke grenades coming out of a parcel, which on the top right-hand corner we can see was delivered by Every. And we know from evidence that we've heard yesterday that Every doesn't ship age-verified deliveries. Does that suggest to you that there was no age-verified delivery on this order?
It appears that way, yes.
Okay. So there was effectively no restriction of any sort on AR making this purchase, correct?
At that time, that would appear to be the case.
So far as we can tell at the moment, yeah. And does that come back to the point that I made before, that AR made this purchase, about whether a date of birth should be provided when one opens an account?
I don't know if the opening of the account per se would have been helpful to capture the age. What I would add is, in this case, since discovering, going deeper into the smoke grenades, we've done two things. We've firstly written to all of the sellers of these items to remind them of their obligations to distribute these to customers using age-verified methods. And secondly, we've put a further warning on all the product pages of all of these items.
Mr. Bamfrey, I want to come on now, please, to the order of the knives, and first of all start with the online purchase. And just to do that, I'm going to give the legal framework. I appreciate you're not a lawyer, and the technicalities around this are not part of your day-to-day job. But are you familiar, or have you become familiar when preparing for this inquiry, with the mechanisms that are the legal framework that's in place?
Yes, I have, yes.
Thank you. And we've heard that given a number of times in evidence, so I don't propose to go through it in full. But there's a provision, isn't there, under Section 141A of the Criminal Justice Act, which makes it an offence to sell a knife, axe, or other bladed or pointed article to someone under the age of 18.
Yes.
And there is then a defence if the person charged can show that he took all reasonable precautions and exercised all due diligence to avoid the commission of the offence, so to avoid the sale to an under 18-year-old.
Yes.
And there are, for remote sellers, 4 conditions on the way that can be met, which are set out at section 141B, subsection 4. And slightly paraphrasing, but the first is that the seller operated a system for checking that persons who bought articles were not under the age of 18.
Yes.
And that system was likely to prevent someone underage from buying the articles.
Yes.
Then moving on to the packaging, when the packaging contained the article, it was clearly marked to indicate that it contained an article with a blade or which was sharply pointed, and that it should only be delivered into the hands of a person aged 18 and over. It wasn't necessary at that time, and still isn't yet, to deliver it to the recipient.
Yes.
Or, sorry, the person who made the purchase. Yeah. And condition C relates to that, so taking all reasonable precautions and exercising all due diligence to ensure that when finally delivered, the package would be delivered into the hands of a person aged 18 and over. And condition D is not to deliver to a locker.
I beg your pardon,
Not to deliver to a locker.
Correct, yes.
Could we have up your first witness statement, please? AMA 4081 and page 10. Thank you. And you have helpfully in your statement here set out the process of the purchase. So I just want to go through that in full. So 16.1 and the 2 sub-paragraphs, we see that on the 13th of July, AR made the following purchases, and we might be able to cross-reference it later on the table, but the account name was AR, the shipping name was AR's name abbreviated as there, the shipping address was 10 Old School Close. And the way the order was made is that at 8:16 p.m, one knife was bought but cancelled within minutes of placing the order, and at 8:20, 2 units were bought, and it was confirmed that the products were scheduled to be delivered on the 14th of July 24. The order, as you say, was sold and fulfilled by Amazon Retail as is required for bladed articles. Is that right?
Well, it would also be acceptable to be fulfilled by fulfillment by Amazon, but in this case, it was the first-party business that sold the knife.
Thank you. And we see there the notice that would have appeared that we have already, I think, looked at. 16.4, so once the product's been added to the basket and the customer clicks proceed to checkout, they're taken to the verify your age page, which repeats the requirement they must be over the age of 18. And the below screenshot would have been visible when AR made the purchase upon clicking the why am I seeing this question. Can we have overleaf, please, that image? Thank you. Is that over the page? Sorry. I think we want page 11, please. Thank you. Top of the page. Thank you. So that is the warning that would have been seen if you click on the why am I seeing this, which gives the explanation that the information you provide will be shared with and verified by Experian for the purposes of identity verification against public and other databases. Is that right?
It is.
Thank you. If we could zoom out, please, and then zoom into paragraph 16.5 and the section below. So this is the verify your age form that AR would have had to fill in at this stage of purchasing the knives. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And we can see there that he's required to provide a date of birth, a legal name which must be as it appears on your ID, the first name, last name, and then an address as well. Is that right?
That's correct.
And that would then be checked against the Experian to see whether the person who provided that information was over 18 and the address corresponded with the details that Experian held. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And if that wasn't the case, then the customer wouldn't be able to complete the purchase.
Correct.
Thank you. Could we move now, please, to paragraph 16.7, overleaf? Thank you. And you explain there at your paragraph 16.7 what AR did in his purchase journey, as it's called. So at 7:40, so before the purchases had been made, he enabled two-step verification, and you make the point that that would have made it more difficult for unauthorized persons to access the account. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. He initiated the order at 7:44, so before the completed purchases, clicked proceed to checkout, or reloaded the page several times, and you can't see why he did this. Again, might that have been an attempt to bypass the age verification?
It may have been. It may have been.
He then would have reached the form, and you say he was required to fill in the details, so whatever he was doing was not successful at bypassing the form in any way. And he entered his father's details, Alphonse R., into the verify your age form instead of his own. And those were transmitted to Experian, and the information matched on experience checks, and the online age verification was passed. Is that right?
That is correct.
Just to finish the sequence before we consider that further, AR completed the order but then cancelled it, as we've discussed. And at 16.72, we see that he changed his IP address, so presumably using a virtual private network, to make the second order that went through of the two knives, correct?
Correct.
Of course, although that hid his IP address, Amazon still had the details to make the order, including his address and his name.
We did, yes.
So that wouldn't have been a successful way to hide his identity, would it?
No.
Going back then, please, to the online age verification. What AR had to do to pass was to enter his father's details, correct?
That's how he did pass the process, yes.
Would you agree that virtually every child in the country lives with an adult and would be able to obtain that adult's date of birth?
Yes.
And so couldn't almost any child that could use a computer have passed Amazon's online age verification at that time?
They could.
It would have been quite literally child's play to pass, wouldn't it?
They could have done that, and I would just add that we have made a number of changes very swiftly, so the manner in which AR circumvented the process would no longer be possible.
Okay. I will allow you to come on to those and explain that. Could we have up, please, the spreadsheet to look at this order? So that's AMA 4096. And could we have row 98? Thank you. So the bottom row we see is the final completed order for the two knives, and we see in the row above the cancelled order for the one knife. Can we scroll to the right, please? Sorry, actually, could we just go back to the left quickly? So We see under the customer name, it's still under the AR name there. If we go back to the right, we'll see the further details. Keep going, please. Stop there, thank you. Sorry, just one column to the left. Thank you. So the shipping name, AR, but abbreviated, AXRUD. The billing name is the same. Do you see that there? Column AK. And keep going across, please. The card details are again AR's name in full. Correct? Yes. So Alphonse details were in no way connected to the purchase, were they?
The father's details?
Yeah.
They were not.
Sorry, Alphonse is the father's.
Yes, sorry, just checking, yes.
And so there was no requirement for the online age verifications to match any of the details for the order.
At the time, that is correct.
If that had been a requirement, Amazon would at least have known that an adult was either receiving the delivery or an adult's card's details had been used to make the purchase. Is that right?
Yes, that's fair.
And we've heard from a number of retailers over the past couple of days who've sold age-verified items. Some were checking IDs, but some were checking the electoral roll, which has similarities to the Experian check. But I think it's right to say that all of those who checked the electoral roll were checking details used to make the purchase, which meant that they had the comfort of knowing that either an adult's card details would be using or the item was being delivered to an adult's name. Do you see that?
At a high level, I understand that, yes.
Yeah. But wasn't the lack of that a fundamental flaw in Amazon's system last year?
I think that's fair.
And I think you explained that people sometimes have different card details or they use maiden names, things like that. But isn't the solution to that to require those people to provide further details like a marriage certificate or a proof of address or something along those lines?
Sorry, in what circumstance would we request that from a customer?
So, for example, someone was making an order and their ID showed their maiden name, which might have been different to the card name or the delivery name. Do you follow?
I do. That isn't something that we currently do. For a law-abiding adult to have to go through multiple steps to share a marriage certificate, a lot of customers would have concerns around privacy and sharing those documents. So we would want to design a process for customers that was relatively straightforward, as straightforward as possible.
So you've got to do an element of balance of sort of convenience and simplicity against rigorousness of the check.
Correct.
Do you agree? But it might be said that the system in 2024, as it stood, got that balance wrong between the practicalities and the need to be sufficiently rigorous on the name and how that was connected to the ID. Would you agree?
With hindsight, I accept that, yes.
And in that respect, Amazon fell short in this case.
In that case, we fell short. I would add this was the only instance that we were aware of a minor circumventing the online age verification process. But yes, it fell short.
But isn't that arguably more concerning if you're not aware of other examples? Because given the simplicity of the system, that's bound to have happened, isn't it?
I don't know. As I say, that was the only instance. We're obviously talking about online age verification, but we do think about this as a system that works in concert with the age verification upon delivery as well.
Yeah, understood. Can we just have up, please, document AMA 508? So this is quite a technical document. It's called the Online Age Verification Runbook. And I think it's guidance to customer service persons at Amazon on how to handle queries about online age verification. Is that right?
I actually believe it's for an internal technical team who would implement the online age verification.
Understood. So they deal with issues, for example, of if the Experian system is down.
Correct.
And what customers do in those circumstances. Could we go to page 4, please? Thank you. And we have the bottom section of that, the last paragraph, enlarged. Can you help us with what this is, Mr. Bounfrey? Is it a sort of example response that might be given to someone raising a customer service query?
That's exactly what it is, yes. So a customer raising a query about the online age verification process under certain situations would potentially have received this message.
And the example wording is, so you've reached the correct, can you help us with CTI?
I'm going to forget what CTI stands for. It effectively is a ticketing system that means the word place works fine, but it's a technical system about how our various tickets are sorted.
Thank you. It says we cannot resolve verification failures for individual customers. So this is a response to someone raising an issue with a verification failure. It says in such cases, we recommend to try and submit the details of someone else in the household. In the case of an adult, that might be an acceptable solution. But if a child were to get this message, aren't they being directed to a way around the online age verification measures that were in place at the time?
Potentially, that is not an acceptable message in the case of a minor receiving that.
Yeah. And it is right that that's now been changed.
That was changed as soon as we discovered this, yes.
I want to move on now from the online age verification stage to the packaging stage, please. So I think we've already seen Amazon place labels on the packaging. I think we can see an example, if we could just have it up quickly, at AMA 4059. So you heard Mr. Ali's evidence on this, that he perhaps wasn't aware or hadn't noticed the bladed article wording because he was focused on his app. But it's right, isn't it, that there was that bladed article warning there at the time this delivery was made?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And in the top right-hand corner, we see age 18 plus. Yeah. And this is an example of the label, albeit with different details, that would have been put on the package AR made for the 2 knives, correct?
Yes, this is an example of a label that would have been in place at the point he made the purchase, yes.
Thank you. And I suspect we're all familiar with the size of these labels from Amazon orders, but can we please just look at some other labels that we've seen from other evidence? So could we have up first, please, MERP 008267. So this is the packaging from Springfield, and we heard from Mr. Bullock 2 days ago. Could we just zoom in on the label? Now, I understand Springfields is selling a range of different items, and it's probably not right to compare all retailers and lump them together. But would you agree that that warning label in red and saying delivery, bladed items delivery to 18 only together in one place is clearer than the Amazon label was?
I would, yes.
And could we have TACA 509? This was the label provided by Tactical Archery who are retailers of bows and crossbows. Again, would you agree that although we don't have sense of scale, that looks like a more noticeable label?
Yes, I would.
I should say, in fairness to you, that we saw other examples that were less prominent than these. These are perhaps the two most prominent. But in your view, could Amazon's labelling of this be improved?
I believe it could. The teams are indeed looking into what they could do around the labelling, particularly as a result of seeing some of these other examples. I would add, though, that we don't just rely on the label. The app notification for drivers is also very important as a means of flagging that the item they're about to deliver will require age verification upon delivery.
If there's problems with the online age verification and issues with the labelling, is there a risk that too much weight is being placed on the age verified delivery?
As I've highlighted earlier, there were issues with the online age verification which we've sought to close, and we view this as a system, and there are opportunities to improve the age verification on delivery as well. So I think it's very important that we look to continuously improve all aspects of that process.
Aside from the label, one other thing that Amazon delivery drivers could do to bring a bladed article to the recipient's notice is tell them this is a bladed article. Given Mr. Ali hadn't appreciated that it was a bladed article, clearly he was not doing that. Do you agree?
I agree, yes.
And I haven't seen anything, so correct me if I'm wrong, in the training that suggests that delivery drivers should do that.
You mean inform the customer that the item they're handing over is that of a bladed product?
Yes, so to be clear for context, they will obviously ask the year of birth, which ought to give the recipient notice that there is an age-verified item that's being delivered. But would it help to train your drivers to also say, I need your year of birth because I'm giving you a bladed article?
I think that's a very interesting proposal. I'd like to take that back to my teams. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on now, please, to the delivery. You heard Mr. Ali's evidence, and I asked, the year that we've got is 1978, so the recipient gave a year and Mr. Ali entered 1978 in his app, in the PDA. So for important context, that obviously suggests that the delivery was accepted by an adult in this case.
Yes.
The difficulty is that year of birth does not appear to match the year of birth of either of the two adults at the address, and you can imagine that for this inquiry, but also detection of other crimes, it's important to know exactly who has received the knife. Do you agree?
I can see why that would be important, yes.
Has Amazon considered doing more than just taking a year of birth? Oh, sorry, actually, I think there's one important point to make on this. I don't believe that Amazon's been able to get a name of the recipient. Is that right?
I'm not actually sure whether we've been able to provide that.
I think in your statement you give us a year, but you don't say a name was provided. I think we saw in the app that the driver is expected to give a name.
I believe that is correct. I also believe it may be possible for the driver to skip the name, but I'd want to check whether that is indeed the case.
I did ask Mr. Ali about that because I wondered. He said that you had to do it. Would you, Amazon, please be able to come back to us and clarify this?
Of course.
Also if a name is taken. Thank you. Aside from the name, we have evidence from other delivery companies that will be adduced that DPD, I think, takes a name and also takes a photograph of the package. I think they're not permitted for data protection reasons to take a photograph of the recipient, strictly speaking.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think Royal Mail take a name, a signature, and I believe a photograph. Has Amazon considered any of those further measures?
We have in the past used required signatures, and indeed we do take photographs, but maybe I can explain. Prior to COVID, we required signatures for certain deliveries. We stopped that for obvious reasons during COVID, and we haven't put that back in place since. In terms of photographs, and I believe we saw that with Mr. Ali's evidence, if a parcel is left unattended, in other words, and obviously this would not be the case for a bladed item, but for a regular product, if it was left on a doorstep, the drivers are required to take a photograph. If an item is handed to an individual, because they're not allowed to take the photograph, including the likeness of the person, we don't require that additional step to take the photograph. So for certain things, we do take photographs. We have required signatures in the past for certain items. Neither of those, however, as I understand it, directly relates to age verification per se.
And you'd remove the signature and haven't brought it back. Is that something that you would consider?
That wasn't, as I recall, just in the instance of age verification on delivery. We could certainly explore that, but as I understand from the operational teams, they haven't seen the need to bring back signatures, but it's something we could, of course, consider.
I think we'll consider with AR's parents the signature that we receive from Royal Mail, but it might not be particularly easy to decipher it. Is that one risk?
For example, yes.
But asking the recipient to provide more details, could that be a deterrent to someone accepting a delivery when they are not of age?
I don't know about a deterrent. It might make it harder for someone, and that would make it harder for someone whether they were over 18 or under 18.
Thank you. I want to now please move on to the audits that Amazon does of age-verified deliveries. Could we have up, please, your first statement at AMA 4081? And page 29. So at the top there, you explain how this works, and you say that there were upwards of 23,000 audits in 2024 and almost 14,000 audits so far to June of 2025. Is that right?
That's correct.
The mystery shoppers that are used for this audit are aged, I think, between 18 and 24. Is that
That's
right?
correct, yeah.
So it's not the audits are not actually deliveries that are made to people who are underage.
Correct.
For good reason, no doubt, but important context to the results. Could we go down the page to 28.3? The audit has 4 possible outcomes. Abort, so where there's an issue with the delivery, the auditors confirmed they did not personally receive the package, or the auditor's notes are unclear. Pass, where the Challenge 25 Plus process is followed in full. A partial pass, where the driver asked for the year of birth, the driver asked for the year of birth and the date of birth, but did not request a CID. And could that include a case where someone gave a year of birth or date of birth that was under the age of 25?
Yes, it could.
So
and in fact, it would, in this case, it would be because of the participants were all 18 to 24.
Yes. Yeah. So the participants would have given their actual year of birth.
Yes, I believe so.
Understood. So that would be a failure to follow the Challenge 25 process. Or,
Yes, it would.
Amazon's process.
That's right.
And then the other option is the fail, where the driver does not request year of birth or government-issued ID, or leaves the package unattended at the address. Just thinking about the partial pass again, that means that the driver is entirely reliant on what the recipient says. Is that right, or is it simply a failure to follow the process to take the ID?
I think it's both of those things.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, that's right. And can we go, please, to paragraph 28.6, which is over leaf, the bottom half of the page. So we see there a collation of the outcome of these audits. And in 2023, the full compliance is 81%. That means the passes, not including both partial passes and fails. Correct?
That's correct, yes.
And then in 2024, 83%, and 2025, 85%. You tell us in your statement that the internal goal for this is 90%. Is that right?
I'd like to clarify that, actually. The short-term goal is 90%, and we're getting close to that. However, our long-term goal, and the only goal we should have, is 100%. Although I accept, I write in the witness statement, it is 90%.
Yeah, thank you. And if we go to 28.8, you say that in response to the drop in 2023, those various steps were taken, regular communication, attending at roundtable meetings with DSPs, and launch of an interactive training video. We saw the percentage then did rise by a few percent in
That's right.
24 and 25. Are you satisfied that those measures are having an impact?
Well, I'm satisfied the measures in 28.8 had an impact. Following becoming aware of this incident in January this year, we've put some further steps in place which have seen a further increase here. But just to be very clear, we now will off-board, in other words, prevent individuals who do not pass, who do a partial pass, we immediately prevent them from delivering parcels for Amazon in the future, whether that's DSP or Flex, but we may come on to that.
Thank you. Can I just ask you about one point on that? Was there a stage where there were different penalties for drivers that drove for Amazon Flex and drivers that drove for DSPs?
There were, and I believe the statement goes on to outline what they are. But yes, the penalties were previously different.
And was that because Amazon Flex drivers had less intensive training? In other words, as we heard from Mr. Ali, they were required to view the videos, but they didn't have 2 days of classroom training, and they didn't have any ride-along training as well.
It's partly because of that, and also because of the support available to the drivers who drive for DSPs, because there is an on-the-road manager who's there, and I think Mr. Ali referred to the person that he was able to get advice from. That doesn't exist for the Flex drivers, and that's why there was a different approach taken. We have now harmonised the approach.
And I think at the bottom of the page, we see where the audit identified a parcel pass, and as you've said, this has now changed. DSP drivers were offered in-app training. Flex drivers were given an email alert, and then if they had another parcel fail, they were off-boarded. And then for a fail, DSP drivers are off-boarded, last sentence on that page, and turning over. For Flex drivers, an email alert, they need to comply with the AVD process, and if they have another partial parcel fail, they are off-boarded. So the Flex drivers have a kind of 2 strikes process.
That was the case at this time, yes.
Can I ask that the penalties for Flex drivers were more lenient than for the penalties for DSP drivers because they'd had less training and they had less support around them, correct?
That's partly the case. Also, a flex driver might only be driving for 2 to 4 hours, typically in a standard block, whereas the DSP drivers would typically be professional drivers doing several hours a day. So the level of expertise may be different between the two.
So I appreciate this has now been looked at and changed, but it might be said that the solution to Amazon Flex drivers having less training was not to be more lenient when they failed an audit, but to actually give them more training so they didn't fail it in the first place. Would you agree?
I agree with that, and in addition to what I've already described, we have gone back and enhanced and updated the training that is given to flex drivers, and at any stage, whether someone driving for DSP or for flex, they can always access the age verification training at any time.
Thank you, and we've seen some of the content of that, and we know that they have the app as well. Could we just briefly, sir, have 1 minute or two just before, and we'll break for lunch. Could we have up AMA 4068? Thank you, and could we go to slide 11? So we have, I think, Amazon's pass rate compared to other competitors, and is this age-verified delivery? Is this for age?
That's correct, yes.
And we see that Amazon has that 85% figure, and see that competitors are much lower. I think you've also provided the next year in which we see the competitors are improved. Aside from the point of Amazon's improved results, is it concerning that we see, 6 competitors with pass rates or compliance rates at around 50% or lower?
Yes, it is.
I mean, it might be suggested that that raises fundamental questions about the age-verified delivery process at all. Would you agree?
I would agree. I would also add that 3 of those competitors, I believe it's 3, are a combination of online deliveries and in-store purchases as well.
Thank you. That's helpful context. So I move on to my next topic, so I wonder if now is a convenient moment.
Yes, this document is a November 24 document.
Yes, so the 25 document is AMA 4069.
Thank you very much indeed.
And page 10.
Thank you. Have a break now, Mr. Humphrey. We'll sit again at 2:05.